number 31. Fortunately, we started with some technical issues, but hopefully it should be fine and all fixed. First of all, Joe, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I got nothing to really complain about. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. I always get super frustrated with these technical issues. I wonder why sometimes my camera gets stuck. Like I never really understand what the issue is.
It's frustrating when technology doesn't work as it's supposed to.
Oh, tell me about it. This weekend, I almost threw my robot out of the window. It just decided that there was a patch in my gym where it did not want to clean. As in, it's cleaning this small patch, and the rest of the room is like, nope, not interested. Yeah. It's so bloody frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into it because I don't think our viewers and listeners really want to care to listen about my robot's issues. So, the Ad Lib Podcast. The Ad Lib Podcast is all about movies, all about video games, and all about series. Today, we've got some news to talk about. Actually, not a lot of news to talk about. We've got some trailers, however. The Blue Beetle trailer, more Blue Beetle to shit on. We've got a Wonka trailer, which has had some controversy on Twitter. Not controversy, I'll more say like people talking about it. Now we'll get into it. And the trailer for Napoleon, one which I'm super, super, super excited for. Obviously, we've also got the Emmy nominations fresh out. So we'll be discussing those. Like we mentioned last week, we'll also be talking about our favorite movies of the year so far. And to conclude, I will give you my review for Elemental. So, Joe, before we get into all of that, what have you been doing this week? What have you been up to?
I've been really bad this week. I haven't watched anything new at all. I wanted to start Yellow Jackets, but I haven't gotten around to starting Yellow Jackets because I've been rewatching The Bear with my girlfriend. No complaints. The Bear is fantastic. It's one of my favorite TV shows ever, I think. I did go to the cinema once. I wanted to watch Elemental, but because it's a kids' movie, they weren't really showing it at later times, and I had to go at a late time. But I did see The Boogeyman, which was a horror film I'd been meaning to see by Rob Savage based on the Stephen King book, and it's pretty good. I had a very decent time. It's very short. It's very well made. Some decisions I thought were a bit like, because I liked when this was going for more like metaphorical horror, then it kind of becomes like a monster movie towards the end, and I was just kind of like, why? But it's a all round a decent time. How about you?
I've been watching a few series here and there. I watched another episode of Hijack today, actually, as I was eating. Again, if I ever achieve anything on this podcast, I hope it will be to get people to watch that series because it's a really, really, really good series. Hijack is a really, really good series. I highly, highly recommend it. Apple TV with another banger on its hands. Apple TV are really doing a bloody good job. Really doing a bloody good job with their streaming service, and also with the fact that obviously they're releasing movies in cinemas first and then eventually onto their streaming service. Obviously, they've got the money to play with as well.
Yeah.
So that is Hijack. I've been watching White Lotus. We finished season 1, me and my girlfriend.
Okay.
And wow, very good. Very, very, very good. Very, very strong series. It's right up my alley, like all the social commentary, all the commentary about colonialism and the oppression of the white person. And
season 2 is even better.
It is, okay.
It's fantastic.
I'm going to be honest, we watched the first episode, and whilst I prefer the setting of season 2, the setting of season 2 is stunning. Like, I was telling my girlfriend they're going to like find every angle from that bloody hotel. Like, Tower, it's shot in Taormina, right?
Yeah.
Taormina is just, I love Sicily. Like I can go to Sicily every month, to be honest. I could live in Sicily if I actually would find a job there. And me and my girlfriend go there like once every few months. So, and the views and the setting are stunning. The hotel is, there were moments where I was turning to my girlfriend. I was like, oh my God, look at that tapestry, or look at that bed.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like a fucking great bed. And that was a bit distracting, actually, the beauty of the hotel. The characters haven't hit me as strongly as the characters of season 1 hit me, to be honest. But maybe
they will, though. They take a bit longer to grow on you this time around.
Yeah. It's the same comment me and my girlfriend had. It's like, maybe it needs some more time. Obviously, I'm happy to see Jennifer Coolidge again in season 2.
Yes, she's fantastic.
Oh, my God. She's so good. Anything she does makes me laugh. Like any movement, any any sound she makes,
She
anything.
just has to give like a look, and she
just like, has to look exactly.
Yeah.
The moment when she goes tell her assistant to leave the restaurant, and she puts up the menu up. That, oh my god, I was crying laughing. I was laughing so much. And the sex scene, oh Madonna, when she tells him she started to see other men around them. That's so good. So I'm sure most of our viewers have already watched White Lotus, but if you haven't, watch White Lotus.
I hope most of our viewers have seen White Lotus.
There will be other reasons to watch White Lotus in our Emmy nominations discussion, definitely. So what else have I watched? I've actually watched... I've been rewatching the Mission Impossible movies.
Okay.
I watched one. I skipped two because I remember not really liking two that much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched three, to be honest. So I think I'll get on to three now. I don't think I've watched three, to be honest. I know I watched the others. Three I might not have watched. I really don't remember.
Yeah.
I took a look at two, and I know I watched it, and I know it wasn't the best of the lot, let's put it that way. But three never really... None of it kind of propped up in my memory, so probably today I'll start it off.
Three is with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
He's the villain in it.
Yeah. I don't remember watching it, to be honest. So I'll probably get onto that after the podcast. So I've been rewatching the Mission Impossible movies. One is really good. One really
one's very good.
Up well.
Really
but it's a very different style of movie to what we've been getting recently. It's more of a like small thriller movie, the classic 90s thriller. Very different to what we've been getting recently.
Completely different, yeah.
Like Fallout and all the others. It's like very different. It's much smaller scale as well. And it's funny seeing Tom Cruise run on a CGI train. Yes. Considering all the crazy shit he's been doing recently. It's like, really? Running on a CGI train? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do better
running
than
on
that.
CGI trains hasn't looked good recently as well, like Indiana Jones.
True. It actually doesn't look half bad, however, on Mission Impossible, considering the when it was made.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to say it looks better than the Indiana Jones scene, but the difference is not there. There isn't a 350 million difference. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Effects, they haven't, like, it's a weird thing. If they're done well and they're incorporated with practical effects, they still look really good.
Yep.
It's like if you look at the Lord of the Rings movies, like all its CGI still looks fantastic because it's around a lot of actual sets and a lot of practical things.
Or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes,
David Jones.
Caribbean looks fantastic still because he, like as you say, David Jones, he feels like a real character.
Looks so real. But then look at the prequels.
Yeah, it's when there's
example.
two. But then the prequels, they went overboard. They shot everything on a green screen. Not even the floor was real.
It looks really bad. It's really aged poorly.
Yeah.
Madonna's aged so poorly. I tried to watch the prequels with my girlfriend. Like, there was no way she was going to get through those. No way. My friend is doing a rewatch as well of the prequels, and he's like, "Oh my god, what?" Really bad. Of course, the dialogue doesn't really help either.
No,
so there's that. No. Anyways, what else? And I watched Elemental this morning. I had some stuff to do in Valletta, so I was like, oh, let me go watch Elemental.
Nice.
Pretty fun movie. We'll talk about it later on. So let's get into it, Joe. I think we can start off with our trailers.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the first trailer I'd like to talk about is for one of the movies I am most excited to talk about, which is this new Killers of the Flower Moon trailer. We've already watched one trailer. This is the second one. This is the second one, right, Joe? Because I just found trailer. One link on Collider. I was hoping it was
the second one.
Joe, you've watched it. Your thoughts, impressions?
I remember I was watching it. I actually watched it this morning, even though it came out a couple of days ago. I was waiting for basically like some work stuff to come through so I could start like getting stuck into my work. So I'm like, I've got 10 minutes to spare. I'll watch this trailer. And I think I uttered like 4 times out loud, and I was by myself at home, this looks so fucking good. Just the whole time. And this is kind of like, remember when The Wolf of Wall Street was first announced? People were like, oh, cool, like, it's Martin Scorsese, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. But then that really, like they're doing like right now in this trailer, it's a very upbeat, almost hip-hop style trailer. which Scorsese has become like very known with. Like it's edited to like a really good rhythm, and the soundtrack's really good. That's what this trailer is now for Killers of the Flower Moon. And you see a bit more of it and a bit more of what it's about, but like obviously without spoiling anything major. But like for me, this movie was always going to be like the one I've been waiting for ever since it was announced, basically. And this just confirms it. It's arguably my favorite filmmaker of all time, doing one of my favorite genres of all time. So I'm like already 100% in. But then I see how good it looks, and you see the reviews it got at Cannes. I'm like, I need this in my veins right now.
Yeah. So you know what I was thinking of today? The majority, like, no, I won't say all of them because there's Robert Eggers, but the majority of my favorite filmmakers are really old.
Yeah.
And do you remember that interview with Scorsese where he was like, "Now, like, I'm sad that all the stuff that I've learned through the years, like he has very few years left to produce movies with all the stuff that he's learned." And so I was thinking, because I read the review for The Last Duel by Mario Vella on Prickly Pears. I was like, oh my God. Like, imagine a world without Martin Scorsese and all these like Quentin Tarantino and all these directors with whom we grew up with. Like
you mentioned Last Duel, Ridley Scott.
Scott, of course.
We're going to talk about Ridley soon. In fact, I rewatched The Last Duel the other night because I watched a certain trailer that we're going to talk about, and I'm like, I really feel like a historical epic film. So I decided to show my girlfriend The Last Duel, and she really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a world without them. Oh God, I don't want to.
No, I don't want to imagine that.
Like their passion for movies. You can tell they're making these movies because they love movies, not because of the money. By now, they don't need money. They're comfortable. Yeah. They could live their lives without making anything.
It's even when they don't even make something up to their like typical standard, it's still a much better film than most films you will see.
Exactly.
And it's ridiculous.
But I mean, they're all getting old. Thankfully, at least, though, we have directors like Ari Aster, like Robert Eggers, who are kind of, making their own epics with Beau's Afraid, with The Northman. So we can see the potential for the future from these directors. But still, Martin Scorsese, Ridley Scott, Quentin Tarantino with his last movie as well.
Yeah.
Those, the giants with whom we've grown up.
We kind of, I was thinking the other day, like, he's someone who I put like up against those like really big, like older directors, but he's still not that old. He's like fairly middle-aged now.
Who, Joe?
Paul Thomas Anderson, but we need him to start. We need him now to start churning them out. Like I don't want 7 years between a Paul Thomas Anderson film. Come on, buddy. Like you need to start like making more films.
True. His last one was
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza. Oh, I enjoyed that so much. I love such a great movie.
Pizza.
I was confused by the criticism for it. There was quite a lot of criticism for it.
Criticism went completely over my head. I was kind of in an echo chamber where I only saw praise for it. Apart from, actually, this is like a really bad story. It paints her in a very negative light. But I went to see Licorice Pizza. It was the first film, no, I think the second film I'd ever seen properly projected on film. But the first film I'd seen on 70mm projection. So like the best way you can see it, at Glasgow Film Theatre over here. And I bought 2 tickets. And I took my girlfriend with me. Like, look, I said, this is really special. You're going to see 70mm film for the first time. Like, so am I. It's going to look incredible. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. There's good reviews. It's going to be great. I loved it. Like, proper 5 out of 5. I had a great time. She hated it. She was like, half a star. That movie was bullshit. And it didn't go anywhere. It was boring. And she, to be fair, she sticks by that opinion to this day. So at least she's got integrity.
You know what you're reminding me of now? I just remembered, I forgot to mention, I watched Asteroid City.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yesterday.
Go ahead.
So at the end of the movie, I was like, man, I'm really confused. I wasn't sure if I really liked it, or if I liked it, or if I didn't really get the movie. I mean, overall, it's a good... I get the criticism. It takes a really long time to get going. It takes a really long time to get going, like almost too much. And there are moments at the start where it's like, Eia, mesci, Madonna, mesci, Eia, all right, to get it. But once it gets going, once the proper story gets going,
Yeah.
I think I loved it. So I loved parts. I was frustrated with parts.
Yeah.
I thought overall, like visually,
Visually, it's
incredible.
fantastic.
Like,
yes.
visually, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like there are some shots, like almost a 360-degree turn
Yeah.
from the camera. Definitely 180s, almost 360s at times, where it was like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
this is like a director, a filmmaker at the peak of his
Yeah.
craft. I was actually surprised. I really did enjoy the dialogue. I know a lot of people said they didn't quite like the dialogue, but I really like the dialogue a lot. Although obviously it is a bit, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
We expect from Wes Anderson. But I really like the dialogue, even between the kids. That was entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, I enjoyed them. Although ScarJo, she's like, doesn't really. I thought she's going to have a bigger part in this.
Yeah.
She has a big part, but I don't know. I think she was wasted a little. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of actors in
yes,
that film.
yes.
My main problem with it, I think, spoilers for Asteroid City in a way. If you remove the entire meta narrative that it's a movie about a play being turned into a play, basically, I think it's a much better and tighter film if you just remove all the black and white scenes.
See, if I thought I would hate that part because I knew your review had come up on my letterbox, so I read it and I knew there was going to be like this meta narrative to it. I thought I was going to hate that part because generally I hate the meta stuff in movies. But I really did like the Bryan Cranston narration part. I thought it fit well, and even like the thought process behind the making of the play, I really enjoyed that part as well.
Yeah, I just felt like that's what really at times bogged it down. Like, if you are looking to make it tighter and flow better, I think if you remove all of that and just have a story about this place called Asteroid City, it's a much tighter film all round.
That there was one moment where I was like, what's the point of all this?
Yeah,
and that's the exact moment when they switch back to the stage and everyone's asking like, but it's a metaphor. But a metaphor of what?
Yeah,
I don't know. Just watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I was like, okay. Yeah, that's Wes Anderson telling me not to think too much about it.
Yeah,
but I guess the whole movie was all about like grief and recovering from loss, and
yeah,
it was the impression I got. And the fact that they're stuck in this city. The alien part, I didn't get the alien part though. Like I didn't get the metaphor behind the alien.
No,
like,
I didn't even read into it, to be honest.
I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's a thought behind the alien.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of it, to be honest. So overall, I think I gave it a 4 on. I'm not sure if I gave it a 3.5 or a 4 on Letterboxd, but somewhere on those lines.
Yeah.
So I had a good time. I had a very good time with it. There were some frustrating moments where I was like, oh my God, come on. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had those moments with Wes Anderson, I think, before, where I was like, oh, yeah, meshy.
Yeah.
I don't think one moment have I ever had that moment with Wes Anderson. So I get why people were like, oh, this is too much Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, the high, like the good moments of this movie are fucking good moments, like really good moments. So overall, I came out positive from it. But I'm watching him next movie. I won't allow these like really like the opening was stunning. Felt really slow. Like
really
what's
slow.
going on? What's going on? And that frustrated me a little bit as well. Anyways, so those are my thoughts on Asteroid City. Anyways, I hijacked our talk on Killers of the Flower Moon, but I think we've already talked enough about it, to be honest.
I concluded quite a bit on Killers.
Obviously, we're super excited for that.
Yeah.
Another movie I know, Joe, you are super excited for is Blue Beetle. I mean, I don't know. Have you watched the trailer, Joe?
I did watch the trailer.
I mean,
I'm not here to shit on it because some people got a bit sensitive about us shitting on trailers. I'm not going to shit on this live because I have watched this trailer previously. I watched it earlier today as well. It looks better than the first trailer. That's the biggest bit of praise I'm going to give this. My biggest question with this film is, who is it for? You know?
The Latinx community,
I guess, but like Blue Beetle isn't even like a very well-known like name in the wider DC. It's very strange that like this exists at all and isn't like, if this was a trailer for a CW TV series, I'd be like, okay, sure, this looks exactly how it should look. Like the vibe, the CGI, everything. This looks like one of those. Maybe it was made to try and bring that kind of stuff in. Blue Beetle is a pretty cool character in terms of like he's got like the scarab that like gives him the suit and all these powers and stuff. There's a lot of CGI, a lot of it not very good.
Oh my god!
But unfortunately, like then this trailer did the thing of like it's given away the entire
whole story,
story, and the entire emotional hook of what the film's like emotional core is going to be.
With the villain,
I won't
what
say
the villain is going to attack.
I won't say out loud in case someone is really invested in this and they like Blue Beetle. Don't watch this trailer if you do. If you're excited, if you saw the first trailer and you're excited about this film, that's my advice to you, because it will most definitely ruin the whole film because it does give you everything. Much. But yeah, I'm not here to shit on it. This trailer doesn't make me want to watch this film any more than the first trailer did. Being completely honest,
like this moment felt good in the trailer. Like I don't know if you remember this part where he was like, "Okay, go all out." His powers. I don't know how his powers work exactly, but it's like his suit takes over.
Yeah,
and that moment felt good. Like it's an I would say interesting because we've seen it 100 times. But I mean, I'm sure if you're watching this in the cinema, it's going to feel good, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at his powers. His powers are.
Yeah. I'll say the lead actor seems like he's good. Like he fits it and like
seems fun. Yes.
Yeah. What I do like is that it seems like there's a very honest heart to it all.
Yes. That I'll give it.
None of it seems cynical, and it seems like it's done with like well intentioned.
Yes. Even the whole family thing.
It could be like really aimed at like younger audiences, which it kind of feels like it is, and it could be good for that kind of purpose. Maybe Blue Beetle is going to be like the next big thing.
I seriously doubt it, because if they can barely make 250 million off The Flash, I don't know how this is going to do in the box office.
Yeah, I mean, The Flash was like in hell for ages.
Yeah, but it is The Flash. I mean,
yeah, the Flash is definitely more well known than Blue Beetle, and is still not like the biggest DC character. But I mean, we'll see.
How would you compare Blue Beetle with Black Adam, for example? Then, because Black Adam has Dwayne The Rock behind it, and it's still barely hit 400 million. So I think
Black Adam was another bizarre one, because I'm like, why does the villain of Shazam need his own movie now?
Because Dwayne The Rock is going to change the hierarchy at DC.
He did that. Maybe not in the way he envisioned, but he said
the way he envisioned, definitely.
In fact, maybe we should be thanking him. We'll see.
Yes. Thank you, The Rock, for giving us James Gunn.
Yes.
The weird thing about this, though, is I think this wasn't meant to be released in cinemas before, but James Gunn was like, he liked it. It's like, yeah, this should come out in cinemas.
Yeah, it does. It does have like a made-for-TV vibe.
Oh, it does.
But yeah,
at the same time,
who knows?
These kinds of movies, what they really need is a solid, like, emotional hook. The family always does it. So as long as you've got a nice relationship between the protagonist and his family, and you've got that emotional hook there, and then you've got some fun action scenes and an interesting villain, you've got yourself a solid movie.
Yeah.
Once you get good word of mouth, then people will start going to watch it.
Yeah.
But it needs to have those things.
Yeah.
Which obviously we'll find out later on. This comes out in August, I believe. Let's check.
Yeah,
it's August.
August.
Yeah, August 18th.
Yeah.
So quite soon. To be fair, also, I think August is not too packed with movies. So that might help.
Yeah, probably help us.
Because the last few months have been, wow, we've been getting big movie after big movie, and we still have some big ones to come.
We've got Barbenheimer weekend next week.
Yep. Not in Malta. God damn it. Next up, this is the one that like really pumped me up.
Yeah.
A movie I think many Maltese people will have heard of.
Yes.
The trailer for Ridley Scott's next big epic, Napoleon. Your thought, Joe?
I mean, it's a Ridley Scott epic. The guy just knows how to make these kinds of things. There are all the hallmarks of the epics that he's made before, where it's big, it's bombastic. He doesn't give a shit about what kind of accent people are using, as long as it's like kind of. I call it generic history British, the accents that they use in these films, because you can't tell if someone is American or they've got a British twang, or else they're just 100% British in it. And I love that he does that. I have to admit, I kind of do, because what he cares about is whether it's entertaining and the scale of things.
Oh,
that's what he's going for in these kinds of films. I'm not going to go into Napoleon wanting a really accurate history lesson. I just don't want that from a Ridley Scott film. I want, as I'm seeing now, I want ship battles, I want cannons, I want storming forts, I want Joaquin Phoenix as one of like the best emperors that has ever lived. And I want it to be big, I want it to be beautiful, I want it to be loud, I want it to be 3 hours long as well.
Do you know the budget for this, Joe? Because this looks stunning.
I'm gonna guess a lot.
How does he? But I've always wondered.
It's Sony and Apple, so it's two huge mega companies.
True.
Co-producing together. So I'm gonna say in the 300 billion range.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like a 300 million movie, not like Indiana Jones. Let's put it that way. I mean, Jesus, this scene looks, oh my God,
and you know what's also the best thing about these Ridley Scott films? Yes, there's loads of CGI in this trailer, and there's going to be loads of CGI in this film. But he also loves sets, and he loves live locations. It's why he went.
100%.
It's why he went to a country like Malta to film just certain parts of this film.
Yep.
So then they feel real instantly.
Yep.
Again, he just knows what he's doing when it comes to this. Like as I said, I watched The Last Duel again the other day. And again, I was just kind of like, how did no one watch this fucking film in theaters? Like, granted, it was at like a bad time. Like, it was like when we were just coming out of COVID and stuff like that. But I would love to go and watch that film in a theater. Like, it looks beautiful. The performances are really good. The story's really good. It's just classic Ridley Scott doing his history thing.
Anyway, so the thing I wanted to mention, this scene with the charging cavalry really reminded me of Alexander. I hope they do those Alexander. I mean, they're clearly going to do those Alexander scenes from the top. Yeah. Where you see like cavalry charging from the flanks or whatever. They look bloody epic. I know Napoleon revolutionized like the approach to warfare. Back then he had these like his troops would literally charge into the center of the British armies, for example, and they would like spearhead in. So I know Ridley Scott has like all the talent and all the creativity to show these scenes beautifully. The thing I think that I'm just a tiny bit worried is Napoleon has a lot of stuff. Went through a lot of stuff. Like, how do you show all of that in 3 hours without making the movie feel like Alexander? That's what worries me a little bit. What do you think?
I guess it's either gonna focus on a certain era, or it's just gonna be like key moments, I suppose. You can't, with someone as storied as Napoleon, you can't get everything. And at least I think it's unfair to expect like even 75% of the things to be shown. But I mean, I guess if anyone's going to pull it off, it's probably going to be Ridley Scott.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Would have loved the trilogy though, to be honest.
Yes, I mean, if you could get this kind of budget and Ridley Scott to do a television series with Joaquin Phoenix,
Lost. But apart from that, I mean, some of these scenes, like even this scene in Parliament, where they're like,
Yeah.
you got the soldiers, stunning. I'm expecting an Oscar nomination for Joaquin Phoenix for this role.
I hope so, because he could use more of those.
To tell us more about cows and why we shouldn't drink milk.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the relationship as well.
Yeah.
It's a spicy one, definitely. Apart from that, I hope there's, like we always say, always like a solid emotional hook in the center, good solid performance, and the production value looks stunning.
It's
and
out of this world so far.
Once they get to Russia, it's gonna be so good. Like, I mean, this looks incredible. So, shot in Malta. Malta's looking very cold. So that is Napoleon. To be honest, I heard some journalists who watched the scene, like 20-minute scene in Russia, and apparently they said it was like, wow, out of this world epic.
I'm sure.
Joe, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this one, because I like this trailer.
Okay.
But I read a lot of people who did not at all like what they saw. I'm a bit biased because I really like Chalamet. Feel like he's one of us.
Okay.
So I'm always a bit biased when it comes to him.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's an okay trailer. It's fine. Like, I'm kind of the opinion of, like, I don't care about a Willy Wonka origin story, but I know that, like, people need to make their money, I guess. I do like that the director, his name escapes me, but the director of Paddington is doing this, and those are two very, very good family films. They are fantastic, actually. They're really, like, not a bad, cynical bone in them, and they're just well made. My problem, actually, here is with Chalamet. Now, big Chalamet fan. Love him in nearly everything he's done so far. Now, the Willy Wonka I am comparing him to is the original, which would be Gene Wilder. I'm not comparing him to Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, because I don't like that film at all. I just feel like he doesn't have the whimsy in him. To me, it feels like it's kind of like the edgy boy from Lady Bird or Paul Atreides just saying weird, whimsical stuff. Like, I don't believe him. That's the problem here. He's giving it his all, and he's going to be okay. But I don't buy him as a young Willy Wonka. Like, even there was a certain scene before, I actually hate the line delivery of it. It's quite early in the trailer. I'll point out the exact one.
I know which one you're talking about. The one where he's talking to the girl, right?
Yeah, right at the beginning. I really don't buy that line reading, and like the look he gives, like it's
this one?
That look feels extremely forced, the way like he tilts his head and stuff.
I don't know.
Then again, like, this isn't really a film which is going to hinge on like a fantastic central performance, because it just needs to be fun and a bit whimsical and good for family and for kids. It's not for me, so I don't really care. But I mean, I don't have any huge criticisms. So I just don't really buy Chalamet as very whimsical or strange.
But for example, here when there's this scene, he looks the part. Like, let me tell you when.
Oh, like the
here when he's with the hat.
Yeah,
he does look the part.
That's why, like, the looks and stuff are fine, the costume and stuff like that. It's just the energy is not there.
The energy, I think that's the thing. The energy, yeah. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, like when Gene Wilder first comes out of the chocolate factory and does like the forward roll towards the crowd.
Yeah,
you buy that 100%. If I see Timothy Chalamet do that, I'd be like, Timothy Chalamet, what the fuck are you doing? Kind of thing.
At the same time, we're probably not used to seeing him do this. Like, we're used to seeing him in Bones and All, Dune,
yeah.
It does feel a little bit like Paul Atreides being quirky.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue here.
I'm willing to give him a chance, to be honest, because I've never seen Chalamet and thought like one of his most underrated performances is in The King, the Netflix movie. I think that's a bloody good movie, bloody good performance by him. Like that's the perfect role for him, to be fair. This is a completely different role, which, to be fair, respect to him. He's taking a different role, not always like the dark, brooding character. Definitely. He doesn't want to be typecast, I think. And in this role, we'll see if he can do it. I think I'm willing to give him a chance, to be honest. And but we'll see. I saw a lot of hate for it on Twitter. Everyone was like comparing it to Gene Wilder. I think it's unfair to compare it to Gene Wilder as well, because this is still a young Willy Wonka as well.
I say yes and no. That it's unfair to compare it to Gene Wilder, because there has to be some form of reference point for some kind. I mean, it is. I don't know how beloved an IP like Willy Wonka is, but it's obviously pretty...
You'll be surprised. Kids love this story. When I do this book,
definitely very, very big. I mean, like the fact that like Wonka bars are like an actual thing that you can buy in shops.
Yeah, and when I do this book with students, they always love it. Like there are two books they always adore. There's this and Series of Unfortunate Events. Those are two. Like if they ever make another Series of Unfortunate Events movie, that will be a big hit, because I know kids love it. Yeah, a lot of kids love the Netflix series, for example, for it. Anyways, moving on. I think that's the last trailer actually we had. Yeah, that's the last trailer we had. So we can move on to the news now. We have 3 pieces of news to talk about. First one is one that we knew was coming, and it's the Oppenheimer first reactions. And surprise, surprise, a spectacular achievement. Christopher Nolan's most impressive work yet. A total knockout are just some quotes we got on his latest piece of work, which is obviously going to be incredible. I'm so looking forward to this. Looking at some comments, for example, this one by Matt Matum. Oppenheimer left me stunned. A character study on the grandest scale with sublime central performance by Cillian Murphy. An epic historical drama, but with a distinctly Nolan sensibility. The tension, structure, sense of scale, startling sound design, remarkable visuals. Wow. Other comments praise, obviously, the storytelling, the cinematography. The soundtrack is apparently excellent. I've seen a lot of people saying it's some of the best soundtrack they've ever heard. Mm-hmm. The sound design apparently is also incredible. So, Joe, your thoughts? We're not surprised about this, are we?
I'm actually, I wouldn't say surprised, but I'm glad that order has been restored. Just because Tenet was by no means like a bad film, even when like Christopher Nolan has like a bit of a miss. It's still like he's the same as like with these like greats. Like even when he makes something which is, to what critics find fairly mediocre, it's probably better than most films that are coming out generally. But Tenet was a lower point for him. I mean, but there was a lot riding against that. It was in the middle of COVID.
Yeah,
it was obviously put together towards the end of COVID as well. So there were a lot of things going against that. I kind of want to revisit Tenet and give it another go and really flesh out my thoughts, because I did quite like it when I saw it in the theaters, but I had some drawbacks from it. But like, I like one of the Nolan was one like the directors that like I got into film with, like falling in love with his films. So one of my favorite things is to see like Christopher Nolan makes a new movie and then you see the early reactions. Critics are like, it's fucking fantastic. So to me, it just feels like order has fully been restored. It feels like the world we lived in when Tenet came out is well and truly gone, and we're back in a good world now.
Indeed. So even like, for example, this guy from the playlist said he was skeptical, but Oppenheimer has stuck with me since seeing it last week. Yes, it's 3 hours, but in a dense Scorsese way, and the last 20 minutes. Why Emily Blunt clearly took the role, bring its 3 narrative threads to a moving conclusion. Basically, I think everyone was positive about it from what I've read. A sign that French audiences loved Oppenheimer is that they stayed in front of the Grand Rex Theatre long after the film ended to debate about it. So overall, pretty much everyone loved it. I saw one review actually on my Twitter from a French reviewer who said that they didn't feel like the emotional part of the movie, but many people praised that as well. So I'm like, yeah, probably he's just French, so that's why I didn't like that part. But overall, the reactions have been positive, as have been the reactions for Barbie.
Yeah.
Because even the first reactions for Barbie praise the bombastic film, brilliant cast, and many people are saying give Ryan Gosling an Oscar nomination for his performance.
I agree. I haven't seen it yet, but if Ryan Gosling an Oscar nomination every time, I agree.
Pretty much. Did you see the song that they posted on Twitter?
I've actually refused to watch it because now my only issue with Barbie is now they're promoting it too much. Like, okay, the marketing has been great so far. It's 2 weeks to the film.
Excellent marketing. Just let all the marketing you've done lie. People are really excited. I think I saw an article that over 20,000 people just from AMC theaters have booked double bill screenings of Oppenheimer and Barbie. So it's going to be a big weekend for the box office. I mean, the box office, considering you've got predictions for Barbie are at around like 90 million.
Yeah.
Predictions for Oppenheimer are like 40 million, and Mission Impossible are at around like 50, 60 million. So it's going to be a big weekend for cinemas.
Yeah.
So great stuff. So again, like the reactions to this, it's funny, bombastic, very smart. Greta Gerwig aims for the fences and hits a home run. Margot Robbie's performance is great. Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu are pure entertainment. Whole cast is brilliant. I've seen Barbie. The craftsmanship is incredible, in particular the costume and production design includes next level work. I mean, the production design looks
incredible.
Incredible stuff. I can't officially quit Twitter before telling you all that Barbie is currently my favorite film of the year.
Oh, wow.
Greta Gerwig somehow exceeded my expectations. She tackles the positives and negatives of Barbie so beautifully. And she's one of those who's saying, give Ryan Gosling an Oscar nomination. I'm dead serious. Witty, heartfelt, downright fun at times. Gosling is a scene stealer. They'll bring most of the laughs. Margot Robbie's heartfelt performance will tug at your heartstrings. I enjoyed most of the film. Screaming feels bloated at times. Interesting. Okay. The first criticism I've read for it. But overall, like Barbie's perfection. So, like we're not surprised that Greta Gerwig is giving us a great movie. I think she's 3-3 now with regard to movies.
Yeah.
So it's not a big surprise at all that we've got, great stuff from her again. So really looking forward to this weekend. Really looking forward to the 21st. It's a big pity, like I always say, that Oppenheimer is not coming out that weekend. Oppenheimer will be coming out on the 26th in Malta. So
it's a big shame.
What a shame. God damn it. Anyways, moving on. I mean, not much to say here, Joe, to be honest. Only thing to say pretty much here is, unfortunately, it seems like we've got another strike incoming. I sent you that screenshot this morning, Joe. Also about this, kind of like the producers are like not smart enough to be planning months ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when it comes to producers, I always feel like they're trying to fuck up the actors and the writers because they're such greedy motherfuckers. At the same time, can these producers afford not to release movies and series for like a year?
Absolutely not.
Like, I don't get it.
No, I think they're losing this hard. I don't know if you had seen, but there was a Deadline article as well, where allegedly someone from the Producers Guild said that they're not willing to talk with the Writers Guild for a number of months, like they don't even want to, and they want to wait until writers start like losing their homes and getting kicked out of their apartments. And apparently that was an article just meant to like scare like any writers on the fence and like scare the actors maybe from striking, but it's completely fucking backfired. Which I say power to the people. It's good that the Screen Actors Guild are probably going to support the Writers Guild because things 100%. Obviously need to change.
100%. I also saw an interesting article about the leader of SAG, who apparently left America, went to. I don't know if it's the leader of SAG.
Oh no, the leader of
Fran Drescher. This is the one.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking to. She came back from a holiday.
She went on holiday.
Yeah.
she went on holiday. Actually, she didn't go on holiday. I think she had an event in Italy, I believe. I don't know if it was Italy. Supposed to be at the helm fighting for actors who want Hollywood studios to recognize that she was photographed this past weekend with Kim Kardashian at a Dolce & Gabbana event in Puglia, Italy. Some actors took to Twitter to express their dissatisfaction with Drescher's appearance in Italy in the midst of their contract negotiations. So, I mean, let's be honest, it's not the best. It's not the best look.
It's not a good look, no.
Jesus, I never understand why these people don't have like a PR person running after them.
Yeah.
Trying to stop them from fucking up like this. It's like, oh, Jesus. It's like, come on, man, use your common sense. Of course. Oh, anyways, but I don't know. Let's see how this will go. But it looks like it is going to be a strike. Like, that seems to be the case. I have seen a lot of people criticizing the leadership as well, because was the WGA went straight to a strike. Like, they've been trying to mediate really hard and like skipping deadline after deadline. So I don't know. I'm always a little iffy when it comes to seeing like a leader being like, if you have a deadline, stick to the deadline. If the producers guild don't offer you a good contract, like, just strike. That's the only solution to it. At the same time, there's a lot of jobs as well on the line. So there's that issue as well, which is not nice. Shall we get into it, Joe? Emmys?
Yeah, let's.
Because this is going to be an interesting one. So, these are the most nominated shows for the Emmys. Emmy nominations, which came out today. We've got 27 for Succession, 24 for The Last of Us, 23 for The White Lotus, 22 for Ted Lasso, 14 for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, 13 for The Bear, Beef and Dahmer, and 12 for Wednesday. Wednesday doing pretty decent there as well. And Sarah Snook, she's so hot. Oh my God, look at Jennifer Coolidge. I struggle to take her seriously, like, because of her character.
Yeah, I know, she's fantastic.
She is. Let's get into shall we start off with the small ones and then get into the big one? Start off with the lead actress in a limited series or movie. Have you watched any of these, Joe? Lizzie Kaplan, Fleischman is in Trouble.
Only Beef I've seen from the Ali Wong was fantastic, to be fair. So
well deserved, definitely well deserved. My girlfriend watched Daisy Jones and the Six. She liked it.
Yeah, my girlfriend watched that show as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of girlfriends watch that because of the book, right? I would imagine.
No, she just happened to find it on Prime. She's like, I like this.
Because I think my girlfriend read the book as well before that.
Okay.
Catherine Hahn, Tiny Beautiful Things. I haven't watched that.
Same.
I always wanted to watch Swarm and never got around to doing it.
Yeah, same.
Dominic Fishback. Jessica Chastain, George and Tamia. I mean, some, the names are there, the usual names, right?
They're all very good actresses. So.
We can't comment about it though, because we
haven't seen enough. I've only seen Beef.
We've only seen Beef. And again, fantastic performance. Lead actor in a limited series or movie. I watched Blackbird, and how is Blackbird? How does I don't understand the time frame for submitting an Emmy nomination.
The way the Emmys work, this is for stuff that was released last year, 2022.
So it has to release last year.
Yes.
All right.
So that's why, I'm not predicting anything. That's why Barry is nowhere to be found over here.
Okay. Got it. So Taron Egerton was fantastic in Blackbird.
I think there's a cutoff date of February, I think. It's very early.
Fair enough. Camille Nanjiani, welcome to the Chippendales. He's usually very good as well. Very good in
from this list, I've only seen Beef and Where's the Ali Yankovic story.
Oh, you watched the movie. What do you think, Joe, about it?
It's kind of the perfect Weird Al Yankovic movie, to be completely honest. It's wild. It's really stupid, but it's a complete parody. It's very funny, and Daniel Radcliffe is very good in it, I have to say.
Nice. One day I'll get around to watching it. One of those that's always on the list. I never got around to watching it. You didn't watch Dahmer, Joe?
No, I tried watching one episode and I don't really like Evan Peters, so I didn't get into it.
My girlfriend liked it a lot. And I know a lot of people liked it a lot. But I only watched like a couple of episodes as well with her. I mean, overall, I thought his performance was quite creepy. So I think he was doing something right.
Yeah.
Lead actress in a comedy series. I've watched a couple
none
of these.
these.
Jenna Ortega on Wednesday, obviously. Fantastic performance. Natasha Lyonne in what was probably my big surprise of the year, Poker Face. The others I haven't watched, but I'm glad to see Lois Lane here, Rachel Brosnahan, and the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Christine Applegate in Dead to Me, which I haven't watched, and Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. Abbott Elementary just always makes it into these like Emmy nominations.
Yeah, apparently we're really missing out on Abbott Elementary. Maybe we should actually watch it.
Yeah, it's always nominated. Like it's always nominated. Anything which has to do with series, you see Abbott Elementary in it in that list. Lead actor in a comedy series. So we do have Bill Hader here.
Barry is here. What? So what is the cutoff date?
Could it be the season before, season 3? How many seasons are there of Barry?
There are 4 seasons of Barry.
Could it be season 3 then? Maybe. How long?
It could.
Do you remember when it released?
Could be. I think there was a 2-year gap between season 3 and season 4.
Weird.
I think.
Shrinking, really? I tried Shrinking. I just really did not work for me. So I think
I watched a couple
TV
episodes. It was okay.
You watched Shrinking, Joe?
Yeah, it was just like a easy kind of like dramedy.
So it really didn't work for me. Like when you go from like these big scale epic series and then go to Shrinking, I'm like,
I've got a massive soft spot for Jason Segel though. So
I mean, I thought I did as well, but that series just did nothing for me at all. Nothing. Because then even when I watched Ted Lasso, for example, I flew through Ted Lasso. Like there was so much heart behind Ted Lasso and so much. I loved it. Obviously, Jeremy Allen White for the bear there. Yeah, was probably, I would imagine, or Bill Hader. It's a tough one.
I'm really offended that Barry has been put in, like, Bill Hader's got nominated in a comedy series, like, for season 1.
Again, that's another weird one.
Sure. But Barry stops being a comedy series solely after season 2.
I think it's just Max just putting Barry in one area and Succession in another area. I don't think they want Bill Hader and just Madonna, Roman, Kieran Culkin competing against each other, to be honest. But anyways, then we've got lead actress in a drama series. I haven't watched Bad Sisters. Heard anything about it, Joe?
No, but I do like Sharon Horgan a lot. One of my favorite comedy series was Catastrophe, and she was a star and writer in that, which was very good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see her nominated.
Melanie Linsky was generally always nominated in these kinds of Emmys or whatever it is, awards for series, for Yellow Jackets. Another common name, Elizabeth Moss. I think she's been nominated for every season of The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, I genuinely think she has, actually. And probably for good reason, because I had watched 2 seasons of The Handmaid's Tale and she was very good. So
Same. I watched 2 seasons. I don't know why I always stop. Like I watched season 1 and stopped for a long period of time. I watched season 2 and I stopped for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And I read the book as well. I had to read it for my level.
I had to do the same.
Obviously Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, which I heard a lot of good stuff about.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the trailer. The trailer did nothing for me for The Diplomat. I don't know, but I heard a lot of praise for her performance in it. And obviously Sarah Snook for Succession, who probably I would imagine is the favorite for this.
I think she's the one who'll get this.
Like it's probably
you'd assume.
Yeah, it's just her. I don't think anyone's competing with Sarah Snook this year. One of the big ones, lead actor in a drama series. We've got Jeff Bridges for The Old Man.
Yeah.
Brian Cox for Succession, another old man who I don't understand why he's on this list. Kieran Culkin for Succession, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us, and Jeremy Strong for Succession. I think this is going to be a two-way run between Kieran Culkin and Bob Odenkirk.
Really?
What do you think, Joe?
You don't think Jeremy Strong's in the conversation?
I don't think so.
No, I think he is. I think if anything, it's a two-way battle between Odenkirk and Strong.
Ooh, no Kieran Culkin in the running?
Sadly, no.
Because I think he took
I think
the lead
I
this
think
season.
he'd be a strong third. But that's the thing. I don't know what they're basing this off. If you base it off of the final session of Succession, yes, Kieran Culkin, 100%. But I don't know what. I don't know how the Emmys work.
But I think this is just the last season of Succession in this.
I don't know, because then look, there's Obi-Wan Kenobi up there, which has been nominated for something.
Fuck's sake, man. Let me hide it. There, that's better.
Actually, I'm looking this up. How do the Emmys work?
How do the Emmys work? I'm
I'm
going to be honest with you. If it's the last season, if it's just purely the last season, I think Kieran Culkin. Oh, but then Bob Odenkirk is so good, man. The weird thing is, Better Call Saul was last year, right? It was because I remember watching the final episode in summer here. It was the first thing I watched here in Hal Safi, in my house. It's like the first thing I switched on the television, and I put up the final episode of Better Call Saul. And that was around about August, like late August. Now, if it's season 3 of Succession, did you find out, Joe?
No, I'm reading.
Oh, okay. So if it's season 3 of Succession, then definitely Jeremy Strong, and I understand the nomination for Brian Cox. But if it's the final season of Succession, then definitely give it to Kieran Culkin. At the same time, then we've got Pedro Pascal as well. So
Yeah.
oh no, it's weird. The period of time where you can apply for an Emmy is always very weird. But anyways, that's lead actor. Like I said, if it's the final season, I think it's Kieran Culkin versus Bob Odenkirk. Like Bob Odenkirk in the final season. Like every season of Better Call Saul. Got a job.
Apparently, the deadline is it has to be anything released before May 9th of the year that it's happening.
Oh, okay.
So anything before May, like 9th of May and 9th of May last year, basically in that gap, is eligible. So it would be season 3 of Succession.
Season 3 of because Succession ended later, right? Or came out?
It came out later. Didn't it? When did Succession start airing?
Succession. No, March 26th.
I'm fucking confused. I give up.
So it must be the final. It must be the final season, or does the whole season have to finish?
I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Is nominated for Emmy 2023. Which season of Succession is nominated for Emmy 2023? Succession closed out. It's acclaimed run. No, it's closing out. It's the final season then. So it must be the final season of Succession then. So if it's the final season, then what do you think, Joe? I think it's Kieran Culkin versus Bob Odenkirk.
I don't know. I still think Strong is up there.
Mm-hmm. Strong has won it before, right?
Yes.
Kieran Culkin hasn't.
No.
So, but it has to. But do you know Better Call Saul has like a record for the amount of nominations without winning?
Yeah, I think that's why it has to go to Odenkirk.
Like Better Call Saul Emmy nominations in total. I know Better Call Saul has 48 nominations for Primetime and Creative Arts Emmy Awards, without counting this year. And it never won. Like it never won any.
Jesus Christ.
Like I don't get how
that's weird. I haven't even watched Better Call Saul, but I know it's weird.
Like it's so good. It's one of those you have to watch shows.
Yeah, but there's 7 seasons of it though.
But there's 7 very good seasons.
I know, but like that's like how many episodes per season?
Probably around 10. Yeah, that's 70 episodes. That's 70 hours because they're very long episodes as well.
No, I don't think I could be dead in 70 hours. Like,
oh my God. I see Obi-Wan here. Oh God, what's this? Outstanding limited. Oh, anything but outstanding. Limited or anthology series. There's Beef for Netflix, which I think is very well deserved.
Yeah.
The rest I haven't watched. I wish I did not watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. But for some reason, it's there.
Obi-Wan feels like they threw it in there because, like, let's just give Disney something.
Give them a bone. Like, I can't take a list seriously with Obi-Wan Kenobi in it, unless it's like a biggest fails of 2022 list.
Yeah.
Then yes, I would accept it. Like, I remember reading somewhere that they were going to apply for an Emmy for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was like, they're just going to do it because I just don't get this. I don't get it. Outstanding comedy series, and to be honest, I don't think many of these are really that funny. But there's Abbott Elementary, of course, Barry, The Bear, Jury Duty, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, and Wednesday. I think, Joe, I haven't watched either, but I think you know which ones are competing for the top prize.
Yeah, I'll be pretty. Actually, I've got a sinking feeling it's going to go to Ted Lasso, and I'm going to be upset.
No, I don't think so.
But it should probably be The Bear.
By the way, Joe, I think it's The Bear season 1 for this.
Yeah, still, it should probably be The Bear.
Bear season 1, and not Barry.
No, because Barry is not a comedy series. There's comedic elements to it, but like I'm happy to see Jury Duty there because I loved Jury Duty. It was one of the biggest surprises of this year. But I don't think putting Barry in, like, Barry is funny in the same way that, like, Succession is funny. Do you think Succession is an out-and-out comedy?
No,
right? It's more
there's
of
a lot
drama.
of social commentary.
Yes.
There are moments where you laugh, you laugh out loud.
Barry is the exact same.
Lots of dark humor. But
Barry's humor is like jet black as well. Like,
to be fair, I think but I don't know, I haven't watched it, but from what I read, it's like more of a comedy than something like Succession then at the same time. Is it? You watched it.
Only with season 1.
Okay. All right. It's a weird one. I always find the comedy series thing weird because then comedy, like, one could say maybe Better Call Saul is a bit of a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not clearly not. Again, White Lotus. Why is White Lotus not in comedy then at the same time? Because I think White Lotus is. I haven't laughed as much as I've laughed in season 1 of White Lotus. Comedic. I think that, for example, should be in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Succession has its funny moments.
Yep.
Although it's definitely not a comedy. But again, I find it weird that White Lotus is not in comedy series, for example, then.
Yeah.
Because it feels much more of a comedy. Anyways, final one, outstanding drama series. And there are some bloody good bangers here. The Big Surprise, Joe. And I know you wanted to comment about this.
I know, I'm so happy. I feel so heard. I feel so heard. Andor.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, go team. It needs to win. It has to win.
It's not going to win.
Because every critic was like, this is fucking incredible. That's why it's there. The one that shouldn't be on this list is House of the Dragon. I'm sorry, it was just fine. But it is an outstanding drama series. It should absolutely not be amongst these fantastic television programs. I'm sorry.
No. I think it fits very well there.
I don't think it does. These television series are playing football and like it's playing futsal. It's playing indoor football. Like, it's still good, but it's not the same as football.
No. Ara, if I had to rank these series, apart from Yellow Jackets, I've pretty much watched the rest. I watched just season 1 and a bit of season 2 of White Lotus. From my enjoyment level, I'd say number 1 for me would be Succession. I think Succession takes the prize, and I think it will take the prize this year as well. I think Succession would be number 1. I'd say Better Call Saul would be number 2. I think if the White Lotus season 2 is as good as season 1, I'd say it's number 3. So I would say Succession, Better Call Saul, The White Lotus, The Crown. Crown was amazing.
I don't watch The Crown.
Andor, House of the Dragon, and Last of Us. Which makes it sound like I didn't like Last of Us when I really liked Last of Us. The rest are really good as well.
Mine would differ quite heavily from yours. Like, what I think is overall the biggest achievement is Succession, 100%. Like, it doesn't even, that is playing a different sport to everyone else, if you ask me.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I would probably go Succession or White Lotus, Last of Us, and then I guess House of Dragon, because those are the ones that I've seen. But I haven't seen Better Call Saul.
All right,
The Crown,
because you haven't seen Better Call Saul, The
Yellow
Crown,
Jackets,
and the Yellow Jackets.
again, I wanted to love House of the Dragon, and parts of it I do. Especially, I like the earlier episodes more than I do the later episodes. But I don't think it should have been nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Series this year.
Fair enough.
I would have much preferred, and I can't believe that this. Actually, no, I can totally believe that this show didn't even get a single Emmy nomination whatsoever. But if anything was going to get an outstanding nomination, it should have been The Rehearsal.
I haven't watched it, Joe. What's that?
It's incredible. Are you familiar with Nathan Fielder?
Not really, no.
Or have you seen Nathan For You, his first TV series?
No.
It's Nathan For You is fantastic, and like probably like anyone can enjoy it because it's more on the funny side of things, and The Rehearsal is funny, but it's also just like an incredibly like beautiful and poignant like just kind of observation of like growing older.
No, I haven't seen any of his stuff.
It's like he doesn't make stuff that's like probably digestible for like every audience. But at least like with critics and stuff, like that's why I can't believe it. Like critics adored Nathan For You, his original show, and they adored The Rehearsal as well. So doesn't make sense to me because he's incredibly respected amongst like critics and writers.
Amazing
circles.
ratings, Astra.
Yeah, it's legitimately fantastic. It kind of killed me to watch it because like he is in like a kind of like niche of like some very cringe comedy. That's the thing. Like if to explain, I'll explain Nathan For You because it's much easier to explain that than it is to explain The Rehearsal. But Nathan For You is Nathan Fielder plays a fictionalized version of himself where he goes to small businesses and shows them his university degree where he got good grades from a Canada university, which is actually true. And he pitches them ideas for how they can make their business more successful. Now, he pitches them some wild fucking ideas as the episodes go on. But that's the thing. The things that he's pitching to these people are so wild. And these are real people that think he's just like a business consultant coming in to help them. And some of the things he gets people to do, and sometimes that his plans actually work. It's like it's an incredible like social satire, whilst also just like breaking down how people can react to certain things. And in The Rehearsal, he kind of like doubles down on that aspect, where like the whole point of The Rehearsal is he wants to create rehearsals for people that get into like daunting situations. So the first one is, there's this guy that wants to tell one of his close friends that something he told them years ago was actually a lie and it's been weighing on him. So Nathan builds a whole set of how this place is going to work out, and they do a rehearsal of the whole event. But I'm not even giving away like 2% of like what the show is with that. It's really the kind of one where you need to watch it like in quick succession.
Okay.
You just need to like commit to it and be like, look, I'm going to watch all of these episodes. I'm going to finish them over the next 3 days. And then you need to take another 3 days to just sit back and go like, okay, what was that in a way? But it like The Rehearsal, like it broke me. It gave me like good fuzzy feelings. It was really, really, really good and very introspective. The Rehearsal is actually more about himself this time than it is about other people. So it's very good.
Nice. All right. I think that's the whole list, right?
Yeah, I believe
that
so.
was the final one. So, I mean, overall, very, very, very solid list.
I think like the only ones we missed they were like supporting actors and like guest actors and stuff. But I mean, we can't go through the entire thing.
I think like the ones we didn't mention. Two of the most expensive dramas of last year: Game of Thrones spin-off, Rings of Power. Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think it would.
6 nominations, I would imagine, in the technical categories such as visual effects, sound editing, costume, and makeup.
Yeah.
Australian actress Elizabeth Debicki is nominated for her portrayal of Princess Diana in The Crown. I'd imagine that's going to be a solid win for her, because incredible in The Crown. I know White Lotus and I believe White Lotus and Succession pretty much carry all the supporting actors and actresses. I believe I saw the list. There were like 4 from White Lotus and 4 from Succession for best actors and best actress. I believe pretty much the whole cast of White Lotus, every single woman that appears in White Lotus is nominated for best supporting actress.
Probably, yeah.
Like from the Italian prostitute,
yeah,
the woman who takes care of the hotel.
Yeah,
I know she was nominated. Obviously, Jennifer Coolidge was nominated. I know even the blonde was nominated.
Yeah,
the wife of the tech guy.
Yeah,
he was nominated as well for best actor.
Oh, Theo James, nice.
Yeah, pretty much the whole cast of White Lotus was nominated for best actor and best actress.
Yeah,
pretty much. And all the big names for Succession were also nominated as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for the Emmys, guys. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on these nominations. Any series or limited series or even movies, because we've got some made-for-TV movies nominated there as well, which you feel were left out. Let us know in the comment section below. Joe, shall we get into our favorite movies of the year so far? I've got 5. How many do you have?
I've got 5 as well.
Okay, so we can do a top 5 countdown.
Yeah.
Shall I start with the first one?
Yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions though? I've only got 2 honorable mentions.
I have to go through my letterbox. Go ahead with your honorable mentions, Mena.
So my honorable mentions of the films I saw this year that were released this year. I had a total number of 7, which I felt like were like really good films to include. So the 2 honorable mentions, I go for the first one, which was John Wick Part 4. Had a very, very good time at this film. Just a slightly less good time than I had at other films. So obviously Keanu Reeves in it. This is the conclusion of the John Wick character, we hope, because it's actually a very good way to end it. It was huge. It was really long. It was bombastic. The action was incredible. It's exactly what I wanted from a final John Wick movie, to be completely honest. It almost made the list. It almost made the top 5. And my other honorable mention is How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This is a film that probably not that many people have seen, but they really should. It's a very, very good... I'm not going to say, like, I guess it's kind of political in a way, but what they call a geo thriller. It's about a bunch of activists trying to blow up an oil pipeline in Texas, and it's very tense. It's extremely well directed, very well, like great performances across the board, and you should seek this one out if you haven't seen it yet.
Definitely. So I went through my Letterboxd list and my honorable mentions. I've got a few actually. Well, a bit of a spoiler for my review. Elemental makes an honorable mention, which I'll talk about later on. Creed 3, which I really liked. Really liked Creed 3.
Yeah, to be fair, Creed 3 wouldn't have made my list. It would be just outside the list.
I really like Creed 3. The more I thought about this movie, the higher the rating for it got. So when I reviewed it, I think I gave it like a 3.5. Infinity Pool. The more I thought about that movie, the more I was like, yeah, I really like that movie a lot. So Infinity Pool, Evil Dead Rise makes my honorable mentions as well.
That didn't make your top 5?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It was going to, but then I was like, reduce a rating from it. John Wick Chapter 4 also makes my honorable mention for the reasons you mentioned. Epic. Should be a great send-off for the character, but it seems like it's not going to be the case. And one movie, Joe, I don't know if you were here when we talked about this, Reality. I think it was me and Franco who talked about that. It's a very, very good movie. Very good movie. Very, very enjoyable movie. I was really, really happy to see Sydney Sweeney in White Lotus then, because she's a great actress.
She's fantastic,
fantastic actress. Just when you watch it, Joe, however, watch it, because the sound design for Reality is incredible. There's really good sound design, because there are some. It's not a horror movie at all. I mean, it's like a retelling of what happened to this like person, like 100% accurate to what happened. But there are some tiny elements of horror in it, especially with the sound design.
Yeah.
So listen to it with a good sound system or with headphones or whatever when you watch this movie, Joe, because it's a good one. It's a very good one.
Nice.
So those are my honorable mentions. So Joe, shall we get into your number 5?
Yeah, so my number 5 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it just slipped in there. Despite my trepidations with the ending of the film, I had a fucking good time. This film, it was fun. It was colorful. It was almost fully what I wanted from a Spider-Verse sequel.
Almost.
Almost. It was so close.
Fair enough. Okay, so my number 5 for 2023 so far is not Spider-Man, but it is Nimona. Surprise,
Okay.
surprise. Made my number 5. Did you finish it, Joe, by the way?
No, not yet. Haven't had the chance.
I had a really good time watching this movie. It's beautifully animated. I saw a few people mentioning that they thought the animation was a bit awkward. I really liked the animation style.
From what I saw, it was great.
It was great, really good mixture of 3D, 2D, like the creativity and the different creatures and animals that she transforms into, like the whole setting, the fantastical world that they build. The world building is great. The characters are very likable. Overall, a really, really good movie. So I was very happy with Nimona. So that's my number 5. Joe, your number 4.
My number 4, and this is technically a 2022 movie, but I had to confirm. I went and I checked when I watched it on Letterboxd. I went to check when it released in the UK, which was 20th January 2023. And that's Babylon by Damien Chazelle.
Oh, that's cheating.
How is that cheating? It's a 2023 release.
Because for us, it's a 2022 release.
Was it? Did it release in Malta before it released in the UK?
In Malta, it released in December. I remember.
Wow.
Yep. It's released in December.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. Unless I'm somehow getting it wrong, but I've literally checked on my letterbox and everything. But
yep.
Yeah, Babylon.
So why did you nominate Babylon, Joe?
Because it's fucking incredible. What do you mean?
Babylon.
Exactly. Because it's a movie sent from God to save us. Like,
I don't think we need to mention. I gave it a 5-star on Letterboxd.
Yeah, fucking same. I'd give it 6 if I could.
It's got a 3.8 test on Letterboxd.
Tal, quick thoughts on Babylon. Big thumbs up from the girlfriend.
Very well deserved. Very well deserved. So that's number 4 from Joe. My number 4. I'm trying not to spoil the others, so I'm gonna put it on a separate tab. My number 4, 40 years so far. I think Joe will agree with this. Is Blackberry.
Mm-hmm.
So again, another movie I had a very good time watching. I'm really looking forward to speaking with the director, Matt Johnson. Just a fantastic movie. Very well directed. Great performances. Like the development and seeing, you can see the downfall and where the downfall is going to be like a mile away. But seeing the train wreck happen is just so much fun. It's just so much fun. It's just a blast. And I was surprised overall. The production design and the clothes and so on feel very authentic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, very well deserved. I really enjoyed watching Blackberry. Your number 3, Joe.
My number 3, and I was actually I'm not going to say upset, but surprised to hear you actually left this out of your list, is Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, okay.
I had not only a great time at the cinema when I saw this film, but I had a great day in general. It was exactly what I wanted it to be and more. It was incredibly well directed. It was, for me, being originally just a fan of the first Evil Dead films, like the original trilogy, so to speak. I didn't know what the 2013 remake wanted to do with the Evil Dead series, like what direction they wanted to take in it. It just felt like it's being really bloody and bombastic just because it could be.
Mm-hmm.
This one felt like there's a direction, and this is one where I felt like, okay, now you can go other places from here, which is what I needed from another Evil Dead film. It needed to justify its existence with that. It's got one of, I think, in my opinion, the best opening scene of the year so far.
Oh, 100%. The opening, my God.
To get to its opening title is incredible. One of the best opening scenes. And yeah, it was the perfect length, perfect cast, really fun. It was Evil Dead whilst being very new at the same time, which is a difficult thing to do.
Yep.
And it was a film, when I first heard it was being made, I was like, can we just leave the Evil Dead alone? Like, it's a series I love. I don't need more films of those. Now I want more Evil Dead films.
No, we want more. Give us more. And they're definitely going to make more, because this is one of the movies that made a massive profit.
Huge profit.
Big success story. So we're definitely getting more. I'm surprised it's only got a 3.3 on Letterboxd. Expect a higher ratings for it. But anyways, so that's your number 3, right?
Yes, my number 3.
Yes, so my number 3. I'm curious if it's going to be higher on your list. I am super looking forward to what he can do with the DC universe. My number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Fits Volume 3 for number 3. Overall, the top 3 were really hard to split up.
Yeah, same.
Like tomorrow, I might give you a completely different top 3. But thinking about it in the past few days, I was discussing it with my girlfriend as well. My girlfriend did watch Guardians of the Galaxy, to be fair, so it was an unfair discussion, which might have influenced this slightly, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, just a fantastic movie. Very, very good CGI. I thought the CGI in this was great. So good to see decent CGI in a Marvel movie again. The emotions were there. Like, such an emotional movie. The voice acting by Bradley Cooper, for example, great stuff. Overall performance is fantastic. It was funny. It almost made me cry as well. Great action, great set pieces. Like, overall, a blast. Like, just a blast watching this, and a great send off for many of the Guardians, to be honest. So overall, I think it's a well deserved number 3 spot. Joe, your number 2.
My number 2. My number 2 has been in your list, and it's Blackberry. Okay. So I had the pleasure of seeing this early in the year, in February, at Glasgow Film Festival. Didn't really know the director beforehand or any of his films, but like, they were just, to be honest, what drew me to it was Glenn Howerton, who plays Jim Balsley in the films. I knew him from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of my favorite TV shows. And I'd seen like a couple articles where, like, at some other festivals, people had said like, "Oh, he's really good in this film about Blackberry." And I said, like, I mean, I am one of those people. Like, I am seeing that the trend now in Hollywood is let's find a big brand and make a movie about it. But in my opinion, this is the one where, like, this is how it's done. This is how you do it, where it's not just a really expensive commercial for that brand. I mean, granted, spoilers, but it's not really a spoiler if you know anything, if you live in the real world. But this is a movie about the fall of, I guess the rise and fall of BlackBerry phones.
Fall for BlackBerry. That's a spoiler. No fair.
Yeah. So I guess it has that going for it. But as you said, it's in terms of like the era that it's set in, there's so much detail and good nostalgia put throughout the film. Like, none of it feels like nefarious, like it's come from a producer. Like, I never felt like the producers went like, "Oh, over here there should be a scene where everyone is watching the movie They Live because we own the rights to They Live, so we should put it in this film."
Quite the opposite, actually. Quite
right?
the opposite.
It totally felt like the opposite of that the whole time. Which is the thing I liked the most about it. It was incredibly funny. The performances were great across the board. I particularly liked Matt Johnson, as he's the writer-director in this, and he also plays a very good role. I thought he was very good. After this, I went and I watched everything.
And very funny as well.
Yes. After this, I went and I watched everything he's done, and now I can't wait for him to make another film. And yeah, I just had a really, really good time when I watched Blackberry.
So that's Joe's number 2. My number 2 is going to be a good contrast to Blackberry, and I think Joe already knows
I
what's
know.
coming up
I
next.
do know. Boo.
No, it was a good movie.
Not even in my top 10.
What?
Nope.
Oh my God,
It didn't.
Joe.
It didn't even make my top 7.
Jesus.
It's a really expensive.
No,
it's a really expensive advert.
I never thought a movie called Air about basically Nike discovering the talented Michael Jordan and building
Wait a second.
the Air Jordan brand
Wait a
could
second.
make me feel emotional.
Nike discovering Michael Jordan that's skewing it a bit. That's the movie playing a trick on you. Michael Jordan was always going to be Michael Jordan.
No, Michael Jordan was always going to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, what they did was they placed a very good bet. Is what they did.
Yes. So it's not like Nike made Michael Jordan. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
But I think overall, as a movie, it just works, man. For me, it just works. Like there was a review on Letterboxd which I think perfectly explains how I feel about Matt Damon movies. Just put Matt Damon in a role where he's very good at something, and just let him do his thing. And you've got an Oscar-nominated movie on your hands. I just love the guy so much. He's such a vibe on screen, Astra. Same thing with Ford v Ferrari, for example.
Yeah,
he's
very good.
Such a vibe.
He's doing the thing that he's good at in this movie. Like I have to admit, like parts of it are good. What I can't get behind is it's like I just go like did Amazon, to be fair, it's from a company like Amazon as well, so it's not exactly coming from like fucking Greenpeace or somewhere like that. So I can't really expect much more, but I'm like, did we need a film that cost probably between $50 and $80 million celebrating the fact that Nike placed a really good bet and made what, 300 billion in the long run?
This is it, John. Ben knows what the people want. Movies about Matt Damon being good at his job.
Yeah.
Middle-aged white men yelling at each other about budgets for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what cinema's all about.
Yeah.
This shit is gonna go so crazy when I rewatch it on an airplane. So good. There's something about these dad movies that just do it for me. I think either it's me becoming slowly turning into a boomer.
To a dad,
Yeah, transitioning into a dad. Now recently I've been grilling almost every day. As well.
You're almost there.
Oh my God, I'm there. But I have to be honest, I love the Air so much. It was probably fine. Should be my number 1, but
it was fine.
It's not. Joe, your number 1.
My number 1. So the reason I chose this film is because I haven't really seen anything this year so far where I'm like, my enjoyment has matched its artistic achievement, right? This was the only film where it kind of did, where I felt like what the director was trying to do with it met my enjoyment of it. My enjoyment of it was through the roof on this film. I had one of the best nights at the cinema I've ever had when I went to go and see the film I'm about to mention. I didn't expect to have such a good time. In fact, everything I saw before I went to go see this film, I wasn't too convinced on it. I thought it was just going to be like maybe just a decent time at the cinema. M3 good. I'm joking. It's not.
Oh my God.
It's not Megan, but it is actually surprisingly for me. And I really hate to say it. And in my opinion, it's not part of the MCU. But my number 1 movie of the year so far is Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3.
All right. That's. I don't know what I expected actually.
It was. I had the best time. As you said, it's big, it's beautiful. It is James Gunn. He is so far the only director that the MCU has ever had where each one of his films feel different from each other, but also companion pieces to each other, and where he feels in control of the product.
100% in control.
If you ignore the entire MCU and you watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, you don't need the MCU. This is just a trilogy of really good films with a really good cast, with really good characters, with really good soundtrack. And this is the most emotional one of the bunch. And what this film did for me, because I remember when the first Guardians movie came out, like I loved them so much. I had like my favorite character has always been Rocket Raccoon. And I've always said like he's the best character and he's gonna have his time in the limelight. And he finally did, because it's always been about him, and the final film proved it. Like this film, I laughed, I had fun. Admittedly, I cried like more than once. My girlfriend cried her eyes out, and she doesn't even remember the previous Guardians films, but she was inconsolable many times in this film. And it did, like, I love when James Gunn does his thing. I agree that like when he goes for like the emotional stuff, it is a little bit sappy, but it just
100%.
But it works.
But it works.
He's really good at it. Like that is his thing. He doesn't pretend to be like very like particularly deep on the emotional side. It's very sappy but very relatable, the things he goes for. His movies are all about just a bunch of outcasts have found each other and they're friends. Every single one of them. Even when he made The Suicide Squad.
Yep.
His key thing there was this is a bunch of outcasts that just found each other and it works. Peacemaker is about an outcast who finds a crew and it just works. You know, it's extremely simple. But this one, I feel like I mean, well, I don't even think this is a hot take, but a lot of people would say it is. In my opinion, this is the best movie of the MCU. Sweeping declaration.
Lalo. That's
I think Marvel are they're extremely fortunate to have had someone like James Gunn work with them. I think the Suicide Squad gave us a taste of what James Gunn can do with a DC product, and even Peacemaker as well. And I think they're extremely stupid to have let him go.
Yeah. I think that is the number one big mistake Marvel did.
Yeah.
Disney did, to be honest.
Like, I am not interested. Whatever they're going to do with the Guardians next, I am absolutely
nothing.
Not
Zero.
interested. I don't care. It doesn't exist. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are volumes
any of the
1 to 3.
actors are interested in, to be honest.
No, they're not,
because they're so loyal to him. They're so loyal to James Gunn.
They were the reason that Disney rehired him, because when Disney fired him for tweets that he made fucking 15 years ago, which, like, in all honesty, weren't even that bad.
They weren't even that bad, exactly.
They all came out and they said, okay, we're just not doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 then, because you got rid of our director.
Yep.
But yeah.
So there, he inspires loyalty, James Gunn. He inspires a lot of loyalty.
Yeah, everyone who works with him only has good things to say about him. Because,
like, I've seen Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt.
Zoe Saldana loves him as well.
Zoe Saldana. Yeah. All mentioning that they're interested in moving to the DC universe now.
And I guarantee you will see a couple of them over there for sure.
100%. He has already mentioned, I mean, obviously his brother will be there. Yeah. So he's already mentioned, James Gunn, that some actors who are in the Guardian series are going to be in the DC his DC universe.
He likes to take his friends with him as well. Like he put Michael Rooker, who was previously Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. He put him in the Suicide Squad for a bit. Nathan Fillion had a very small role.
Nathan Fillion
will
also
appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 as well.
Nathan Fillion, who's going to be. Did you see the news, Joe?
No. Has he got in a DC role?
Yes, he's already been confirmed. Is taking on Green Lantern in
Fuck
Superman.
yes.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern.
Fuck yeah.
In Superman Legacy.
Yep, I'm in.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Not Ryan Reynolds.
Also, Green Lantern and Superman Legacy. Interesting. I'm in.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yep. I'm surprised. Probably just going to be an introduction to the character to then move on to the series, maybe.
We'll see.
I know there was that. You remember the series we talked about?
Yeah.
The Green Lantern one. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, so I can't believe I put technically an MCU film as my number one film of the year so far, but I can't deny how great a time I had at this film.
Yeah. I think it's the biggest fluff. So, you know, James Gunn was supposed to lead the MCU after Bob Iger.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And yeah, they... because he does this space stuff and this kind of multiverse stuff. I think he's
he's
genius
he's
for
the
that.
one that brought in the space stuff by bringing in the Guardians, because
Exactly.
Marvel approached him years ago with wanting to do a film, and he was always like, I want to do the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were like, but how does that fit? And he was like, who cares? He's the one that brought in all the cosmic stuff and space and stuff like that. So
because they wanted him then to lead that stuff, but Disney were stupid, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah, they will be.
We'll get Superman Legacy. Hopefully, it'll be just as good as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But that leads us to my number one, which is, surprise, surprise, well, technically speaking, also a Marvel movie. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, the more I think about it, the more I think Air should be number one and this should be number two.
Absolutely not.
But still, fair enough. I really liked Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse as well. To be honest, for me, like I said in the review, Joe, I think it's the closest to a 5. It's still not a 5 for me. No movie this year has been a 5 so far for me. Every movie has had some issues here or there. But I think this together with... See, then Air is... I don't know. Anyways, I put this as number one for now. At the end of... none of the viewers or listeners come at me when at the end of the year I put Air ahead of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
If you put Air ahead of any of the films that are meant to be good that are said to come out, we're going to have issues. Like, I might have to quit this podcast. So.
Jesus, if Air comes ahead of Napoleon or
Oppenheimer,
goes ahead
of Flowers of the Killer Moon, then
Flowers of the Killer Moon,
I'll be like, okay, enjoy your podcast. I'm outie.
But as I was deciding on the list, I was like, man, I had such a good time watching this movie. There was just the visual element, the emotional hooks in this movie. Just everything works so well. I will admit, it was a bit overwhelming at times. There were some moments where it's like, oh, Jesus, can't really keep up with what's going on. I'm looking forward to watching it at home, calmly. But overall, I think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was a fantastic achievement in animation, in storytelling, in building up a character, in building up relationships, and then just going crazy with it all, with all the Spider-Man lore. Which is why I think so far it's been my favorite movie of the year. Although it might be Air, but yeah, whatever. It's a mix-up between Air and Spider-Man. Depends on the mood I wake up in that day. But yeah, that is my number one movie of the year so far. So, guys, let us know in the comment section below. Whose list do you agree with the most? Do you agree with any of our lists completely? And if not, let us know in the comment section below what were your favorite movies of 2023 so far. Because obviously we've got some big ones coming up. And these lists are going to be completely shaken up by the end of the year.
Yes, definitely.
With the shit that's coming up. We know it's going to be. I predict Wonka being number one on the list. So those are our top movies, our favorite movies, our best movies of the year. Let's see which clickbaity title to use for this video. By the way, putting Dune trailer in the last video really worked as a title.
Yeah, maybe we should just
pulled
do
a lot
that
of views. Yeah. Dune trailer discussed. Yeah, it pulled a lot of views. That title. And thank you to our viewers and listeners for all the comments. There was one negative one. I know that was the one criticizing us for not being professional, and like we never pretended to be professional in the first place.
Yeah,
like we're clearly just
I'm amateur as fuck.
3 white dudes just joking and commenting about movies and series and video games.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're here for a professional commentary about movies, you're not in the right place. Let's put it that way. We enjoy movies. I think we have good knowledge of movies, of series. We know how to criticize. We can tell a good movie. Not always. Most of the time, I think we can tell what is a good movie, what isn't. Although again, it's always up to someone's opinion.
Yep.
I think we could do a good job, however, of commenting about stuff. Obviously, sometimes we joke about stuff as well. We don't always take everything too seriously. I think that's our approach. That's what we want to achieve here at the Ad Lib Podcast. If you're here for a professional, super serious commentary,
It's not the place.
I mean, this is not the place, as you can clearly see. But I think that leads us to my final comment, my final review for Elemental, which I will be super brief about. Today I watched Elemental. I know there was some controversy about this movie. I know a lot of conservatives. I don't know why they thought this movie was a controversial one, because it clearly is not. It's literally. Actually, let me give you the summary of the story. In a city where fire, water, land, and air residents live together, a fiery young woman and a go-with-the-flow guy will discover something elemental, how much they have in common. It's a very simple story. It's a simple story of immigrants who leave their homeland, move to this the city. They build a new life there. They struggle to fit in with the rest of the elements, obviously with the rest of the different races and people, and overall, and then eventually a relationship develops, like a romance develops between two characters, and we eventually see how we can all mix together and how much we all have in common. That's pretty much the story. It's a very simple story. I have no idea why this should ever be controversial, but there you go. People manage to prop up controversy for everything. So is it a good movie? I think it's a very good movie. I think it's a very, very good movie. I think, first of all, the quality of the animation was stunning. I think it's a beautifully animated movie. The fire effects were great. The water effects were great. I think that's the number one thing that impressed me the most in this movie. Seeing the different elements, the way they mix up together, and how they work together. Like I said, you've got fire, water, land, and air. And all those different elements, you've got different people. You've got like the cloud people, you've got the earth people, water people, and the fire people, all living together. I wouldn't say in harmony, but they're living in the same city. And the different tricks they do with the elements are stunning, like fascinating stuff. The voice acting is incredible. Lea Lewis, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. But she is so good, man. She is really good in this. Like, her voice acting in this was stunning. She's really, really good. I was surprised by how much I clearly am not an immigrant, right? So I shouldn't be like empathizing with this character, but I really do. I kind of like see a lot in common with her. I do suffer a bit from having a bit of a tantrum, and she also suffers from this, like from being a little too fiery at times. So I really empathized a lot with her character and like the struggles she has, and I found her character just fascinating. So I really, really liked her character. I mean, with regard to other positives, I think overall the story is a very simple one, like I said, but it's a very effective one as well. The negatives, I would say, I wish. Let me put it this way: so the story is all about like different elements mixing together and finding out that they can live together. I wish the focus was more on that and less on the relationship that develops between the two main protagonists, because whilst it is an emotional relationship, we've seen it 100 times before. Like, we've seen this relationship so many times before. Whilst the mixing of elements, whilst again it's a common theme with many immigrant movies, it's tackled in a very creative manner, right? With having these different elements mixed together, and I wish they focused more on that, rather than like going full into the relationship and romance part of the movie, which was fine. Again, it was fine. There was also a really weird character named Claude, who I have no idea why he was included. He was like, every time we see him, he's like, "Oh, my queen, I love you so much." And I'm like, oh, God, this character is far too cringeworthy for me. I understand maybe he's there for the kids. I think that's why.
Yeah.
But there were kids in the cinema I was in, and I heard none of them laugh in his scenes. So I don't know. For me, It was a very, very weird character. One other thing I really did like, which I was going to forget, was the father-daughter relationship. I don't know what it is, but fathers just always do it for me in movies. And again here, the father-daughter relationship works really well. The whole coming of age element of this movie was great. Again, coming of age movies and seeing them leave their houses. I recently left my house like a year ago, so kind of hits home. Forgive the pun. So it like I felt a lot of emotion in those scenes as well. So overall, I had a really good time with Elemental. I highly recommend it. It's a very good movie for kids. Again, I just like what was the other movie? Strange World.
Yeah,
Strange World. I don't understand the whole controversy about it. It's just a simple animation movie. It's not an animation movie which is going to win any awards. But it's a fine animation movie for kids to go watch with their family. I had a really good time as well watching it. Like, if you like Pixar, you're going to like this. You're not going to love it. I think I was closer to loving it than liking it. But I understand some of the criticism as well for it. But overall, I think it's a very good time at the cinema. So well worth a visit to the cinema for it. There was also a short movie from Up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. What was it? Carl's Date, I think it was called. It's super sweet short film. I liked it a lot. I really liked it a lot. I loved how confused the family behind me were. They're like, wait, this isn't the movie we came in. And one of the kids was like, Mommy, this isn't mental. I burst out laughing. Like the way the kid said mental just made me laugh so much. So yeah, it's well worth the time to the cinema, and I highly recommend it. Go support this movie because Pixar recently have been treated like shit by Disney, and I feel for many of the people who work there, many who are unfortunately fired, to be honest. So yeah, that's the way thing goes.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much it, Joe. I don't know if you had anything to add.
No, I obviously haven't seen Elemental, so nothing to add.
Yep. Okie dokies. So we can end it here, Joe.
Yep.
Sorry to our viewers, not to our listeners, because our listeners are only listening, but sorry to our viewers with the camera issues. I haven't had camera issues in quite some time, but for some reason today decided to act up. I'll work on it and see what we can do for next week. But thank you, Joe, for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure discussing movies, series, and sometimes video games. Next week, I'll try and fit in some video game stuff.
Yeah.
Next week won't be the Oppenheimer week, so we might have some time to talk about some video game stuff.
Yeah.
To see if anything interesting comes up. And so thank you, Joe, for joining me. And thank you to our viewers and listeners. Just like last week, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, because the comments really push the algorithm. Like the fact that we had even hate comments, even if you hate the video, comment, because that brings in more viewers.
If you hate us, tell us.
Tell us. Like, hate comments really push the algorithm as well. Like, dislike, we don't really care.
Yeah, look,
just do it.
They've always said any publicity is still publicity, I guess.
Yep.
So.
And the hate comment was the first comment, but the rest of the comments were all positive.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's a good thing, I guess. So that's it, guys. So thank you as always. I'll try to get this out tomorrow, Joe. I don't know if I'll manage, but I'll try to get this out tomorrow. Because especially if I put in the Emmy nominations in the title, that might be a good title.
Yeah.
Emmy nominations. We've got best movies of the year and Elemental.
Yeah.
So some good stuff there. So. Ciao, guys. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Ad Lib Podcast. Ciao.
Yeah.
Peace.